Hello, everyone. I'm glad that you're here. And I am doing my first live. And we are talking today about how high achieving boomers and Gen X lawyers want to look at how you can make your next part of your law practice the best part of your law practice. So, I want to start off talking a little bit about myself because I've been coaching lawyers for over 30 years. But I want to tell you a little bit about me. About 8 years ago, I had thought I was going to retire. At the time, um, I guess I was in my 60s and I thought I was going to retire and I thought that would be a good idea. And it didn't work out the way I thought it was going to work out because I found out that, I had almost lost my skill of language. I was kind of isolated. My brain was slowing down. And when I decided that I was going to go back and I was going to go back into the my coaching business, I I didn't feel sharp. I didn't feel like I was on top of my game. In addition to that, I also felt like I didn't know the technology. There was all these things that had happened during this period of time. There was Twitter and LinkedIn and all these things that I had really very little idea about it. Now, fast forward today, I mean, 8 years later, I have 22,000 connections on LinkedIn and I have a newsletter with 16,000 people on it. But it took time. And what I had to do was I had to change my mindset and learn how I was going to do things differently. I had to learn a completely different way of doing things. And that is the case I know with my clients. Um, my clients, um, my clients are people that are generally in their Gen X or their baby boomers, and they've been practicing law like 20, 10, 20, 30, and even 40 years. And it's like a ho hum, it's pretty much the same. And, I was thinking about, I remember I used to be a recruiter for a period of 6 years, and I would work with $1 million partners who had books of business that they wanted to move to another firm, which is what recruiters do. And so I was dealing with the top law firms, the AM 100 law firms, and I was doing these deals. Well, what happened was one of my clients that was ready to change, he found out that he was going to be turning 65. He had about $12 million worth of business. He was with one of the top three law firms. And they had a rule at that time, I'm sure all that's changed, that he's 65. Now you have to leave and you have to turn your business over to the firm and to the associates. And then you go sit in a rocking chair or go play golf or whatever it is that they thought he was supposed to do. And this attorney, he had worked and had so much knowledge and so many things that he could offer to the firm. But yet the firm said, you have to go sit in a rocking chair somewhere. You have to go away. And so therefore, he found himself like, I'm not ready to go away. I'm not ready to leave the law practice. I built this $12 million worth of business. Why do I want to walk away from this? But at that time, that was the firm's policy. And so he met me and he said, you know what, Pamela, I am not ready to retire. I have so much I've done. Just because I'm turning 65 doesn't mean that I want to stop practicing law. And I was able to find him another AM 100 law firm. It wasn't the top three, but this law firm was very happy to have him come to their firm. And they said he could practice law as long as he wanted. And that's what happened. It wasn't a pretty sight, as you could imagine, but it did work out, and he was able to continue practicing law. What is the story from that? Is that, just because we're in our 60s or 70s even, doesn't mean that we have to stop practicing law or we have to go and retire. I remember that when I was when I was in, I had to learn LinkedIn and learn about Twitter and all of that. I'm just checking here. Just want to make sure. Um, Bear with me a second here. I'm just going to ask her. Okay. So here's the thing. I have experienced myself that the last part of your career can be the best part of your career. Just like I'm here and I'm on StreamYard, and I had no idea what this was. It's like, oh my God, I'm I'm not going to do StreamYard. It's too scary. It's another technological thing that I need to learn. And I'm very, very happy that I finally I'm trying to make sure. Yeah, I'm very happy that, that I step back into my career. I mean, I couldn't imagine where I would be right now. I would be, my mind wouldn't be sharp. I probably would feel older. I just had my 75th birthday and I'm just getting started. I am just beginning to learn new technology. I am traveling internationally. I have with my business, I can go anywhere. I practiced with my clients. I tell my clients I'm taking them with me. They've gone to Portugal with me. They've gone to France with me. They've gone to Spain with me. And this year I'll be going to Costa Rica. And my clients can go with me because I I have my schedule, and usually there's 6 hours difference, and I'm able to continue to work and enjoy the best part of my life. Now, what does this mean for you? This means that there's a whole new horizon for you. What is it that you want to do? A lot of attorneys are in their 50s and 60s, and not my age, 75. They're like, I don't want to think about a succession plan. I don't want to think about trying to reinvent myself. I don't want to think about a transition plan. But I'm telling you, you may still need to work a while. Even though you're older, you may have gotten married later, you have children that are in college, so you still have college tuition. Many of you may have taken a hit by the financial downturn, and so therefore, you need to keep practicing because you need to keep bringing the income. And then what about health insurance? Sure, you can leave the firm and have Cobra, but insurance is thousands of dollars per month to have good insurance. So what are you going to be doing in retiring that's going to be so much fun or so much that you're going to enjoy? So here's the thing. You really want to start looking at a plan. You want to start from the top and you want to work your way down. So the main things you want to see from an overview, what do I want my next 10, 20 years to look like? Am I practicing in a low hourly billable rate that's working me to death? I've had clients and they've said, I cannot keep working at these low billable hour rates because it makes me have to work, be a slave to my billable hours. And so I was like, yeah, let's create a new practice area. And so I have a client had a client, and he actually went to a new practice area so that he could uh, have, go from say 125 or 175 an hour to billing between 400 and $500 an hour. So what does that mean? That means that he gets to not be bringing the money, make more money, but not work as hard. Another client just recently wrote a book, and now she wants to kind of looking at What does she want to do as far as marketing the book and maybe having a YouTube channel? Like make spice it up. It doesn't mean that you're going to stop practicing law. It doesn't mean that you're not going to make money. It doesn't mean that you're not going to bring money and value to the firm. But it does mean that you can have an overview thought of this is how I like my life to look. I want to work, really hard, and this is my goal. I want to bring in $500,000, but I want to be able to travel every 90 days and go somewhere, or I want to take some time with my family. There's all sorts of things that you can do and still make the money or more money, but it's a matter of your thoughts. It's like you can either be a worker bee or you could be a CEO of your law practice. And being a CEO of your law practice means that you look at it from an overall view as a business person. So, for example, you want to look at what do you need to delegate? How do you need to delegate? Maybe you would make more money having a team doing some of the things that you used to do. But when you have to have the overview, and if you don't have the overview, then in the day-to-day trenches, what are you doing? You might find yourself busy and working long hours, and this emergency and that emergency and this deadline and that deadline. And the firm or your practice is dictating your future instead of you dictating your future. So it's very, very important that you want to make sure that, to look at how can I create my career the way I want to create my career? How can I make my best my last? I call this the wonder years. The wonder years, like I don't know if you ever saw the TV show with Fred Savage, and it was a kid and he had the wonder years, and these were the years of him learning and experiencing things and things like that. But lawyers can have their wonder years, and their wonder years are the years where you can say, okay, I've put in my time, but I still have more to go. I still have fire in my belly. I still want to practice law, but I'm not going to like hate my law practice. I'm not going to be stressed out in my law practice. I'm not going to be overwhelmed in my law practice. I'm going to find out how I can travel, or for me, it's travel, but for you, it might be golf, or it might be playing pickleball, or it may be playing tennis, or it may be doing some projects in your home, or there's all sorts of things that you may have that you want to do. But it's this time, during this period of time, by having this overview and really facing it, don't ignore it. We don't want to ignore, like I did. I was like, oh, I'm 67. Now what? I mean, I remember I met a friend, and I was so far out of the loop, having retired, that I was sitting there and I was in tears because I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know anything about. In a few years, there was all these social media and LinkedIn and uh, Twitter and Facebook, all these things that were going on that I didn't know. And now my kids laugh and they said, Mom, you know technology better than we do. But we have to have a change in mindset. We want to change our mindset. We want to make our mind up. Okay, now's the time. I'm going to be practicing law a while. I'm going to reorganize my law practice. I'm going to decide not to be a slave to my billable hours, but yet I'm still going to figure out I'm a CEO. I've got a smart mind. I'm a business mind. I'm going to learn how to be more than my billable hours. I'm going to see how I can reorganize and delegate so that I don't take a hit in my income and actually maybe even make more. And I'm going to decide on my future. I'm going to make these last few years of my practice, whether it's 10, 25, whatever it is for you, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever it is, like, why not decide today to make that the best? Make this time your best. So I'm going to stop here. But one of the things I want to share with you, and I don't know how I can share that with you, but we have today we are launching a course. It's called the 4-Hour Workday. So what we're talking about is that you can change your mindset in line for the future to get most of your work done by 2 or 2:30 each day. And you're going to say, Pamela, that's impossible. My day, you don't know how I'm working 10 or 12 hours. But what's really happening is because of interruptions and different things like that, and not being focused and whatever, you're working 10 hours to get what you could really get done in 4 hours. And we're showing you, and this is a digital course for the next 10 days. It's let's see, it's let me see how are we doing it. So the next 10 days, it's $100 off the course. It's a digital course. It's a low cost course, $297. You know, you can if you put in the code, if you go to this website, they will. Let me see if I can put the link in the chat here. But we're calling it. It's the 4-hour workday. So you can get your 4 hours of work done in, you can get 10 hours worth of work done in 4 hours. And so I'm putting the link in the chat. And if you want to know more, you can also message me. But I'm going to be having this conversation on a weekly basis. We're going to have guests, and we're also going to have some Q&A, because we want to bring this topic forward. We don't want to be an ostrich. We want to know there's so many more boomers than ever. People are living longer, working longer, we're healthier. People will keep laughing. They say, Pamela, you can't be there's no way you could be 75 years old. I go to Pilates every day. I travel internationally. I work with all kinds of clients. I have a wonderful team that works with me, and I have designed my next 10, 20 years, and I'm not even about to stop. So I want to encourage you. I want you to be happy. I want you to enjoy your practice. I want you to enjoy your family. I want you to enjoy your health. And I want to make sure that you're not ruled by stress, which is so common in the legal profession. So anyway, until next week, we will see you then. And remember that you can get 10 hours worth of work done in only 4 hours. Click the link and find out more. And I'm so glad that I was able to be here with you today. And I'll see you next week.